Hello and welcome to How2R. This is a video series for using R for your basic data analytics needs. And in this video, we're going to look at loading data into what's called a data frame. So think of a data frame like a table, like a relational database table, or even it looks like a spreadsheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to be taking data from an external data source and loading that into a data frame. So here in our R console, I just completed loading the tidyverse library. I've already set the working directory and tidyverse is loaded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to load the data from a CSV file. So comma separated values file. So it's a text file that has the rows, one on each row of that text file. And then in between the fields of that text file, there's a comma to separate each of these fields. It's a format that you can export from Excel. So it's a CSV format. So here's the command that we will use to load data into our data frame. And I've put in a comment here first to load the CSV file. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a data frame called sales data. And what we're going to do is we're going to read the values from the sales data.csv file, which is right here in my working directory. And we're going to load that. We're going to read that and load it into the sales data frame. And once that's done, we're going to see that appear up here in the environment frame. So I'm going to do a Control Enter to execute this line. And here we go. It loaded that, and we have a sales data frame all set. And there were 7,994 observations or rows. So there's 7,995 rows, and there's 19 variables or 19 fields for each row. So that's what our data frame looks like. Now, if I click on that, it loads, it will show you the data frame. It looks like it's kind of in the format of a spreadsheet where we have each row with a row number and then each of the columns. And I can go ahead and close that when I'm done. Now, well, first of all, I can show you that I can scroll left and right or up and down to see what the data looks like. All right, I'm going to close that. Now, sometimes you're going to be working with data that's not in that CSV format. If you want to load data from an Excel spreadsheet, you can do that as well. And that command looks like this. So we're going to use, rather than read underscore CSV, we're going to use the command read underscore Excel. And then we would put the name of the file. And notice that the file name includes the extension for both the CSV and the Excel format. And we put the file name in quotes. And here, this would read it from the Excel and move it into that data frame. Now, sometimes you're going to have an Excel spreadsheet that has multiple tabs on it or multiple sheets to it. So if that's the case, and we have to pick which sheet or which tab from that spreadsheet that we want, and we would do a command like this. We just expand that read Excel to not only include the file name, but also to indicate which sheet or which tab from that file name we want to use. So the name of that tab. And here, the name of that tab was sheet 1. So we want to take that data from sheet 1, load it into our data frame. Now, if we don't know the name or don't want to use the name, we can just use the sheet equals, and rather than in quotes, we'll just put the sheet number. So this would be the first tab on that spreadsheet that we want to load into that sales data frame. So these are the different methods, common methods to take data from either a text file in the CSV format or an Excel spreadsheet and load that into a data frame in R.